I was reaching for the mashed potatoes when Eric leaned back in his chair, wine glass in hand, wearing that smug, self-satisfied grin he's always worn like armor. "Not everyone," he said, his voice deliberately louder than necessary, slicing to the conversation, "can handle a real career in tech." He looked straight at me as he said it. Laughter followed, thin and uneasy. Dad gave a hollow chuckle. Aunt Lorraine pressed her lips together. The cousins just kept chewing, eyes fixed on their plates like they hadn't heard. Then, slowly, Grandma turned her head. Her cataract-clouded eyes still somehow missed nothing, sharp as ever despite the years. She tilted her head at me and asked, almost sweetly, "Is that why your company just bought out his and laid him off?" The fork froze in Eric's hand. Silence fell, heavy and absolute, cold enough to chill the room. I took the mashed potatoes, passed them to Grandma, and smiled. Eric and I were born 2 years apart. He was always the golden one. Taller, louder, first to graduate, first to marry, first to pose with his Tesla and post it on Instagram with captions like #grindmode. I used to admire him. I even copied his notes from coding boot camp because I couldn't afford to enroll myself. He let me once, but success did something to him. Or maybe it didn't change him at all. Maybe it just peeled back the last polite layers. It started slowly. Little jabs in family group chats, the kind disguised as jokes. "How's your little startup?" he'd ask with that smirk that made you feel 5 inches tall. When I quietly closed the Series A round, he called it cute. When we landed Series B, he called it lucky. At Christmas last year, he handed me a copy of Coding for Dummies. "Just in case," he said, grinning. Everyone laughed. I didn't, but I thanked him anyway. I found out about his company's financial instability in February. Not from him, of course. I discovered it through a shell corporation attempting to offload IP to a friend of mine. I flagged the deal, just doing due diligence, without knowing it was Eric's company behind it. That was the moment the betrayal stopped being personal and started becoming poetic. He mocked me for building slowly, carefully, methodically. He raised rounds in Patagonia vests while I stayed up nights refining architecture, layering strength into every foundation. What he didn't realize was that while he was performing, I was preparing. I didn't tell anyone. Not my co-founders. Not my mother. Not even Grandma. I started watching. I downloaded every patent his company had filed, dug through their open-source repositories, cross-referenced timestamps and file authorship logs. And there it was, code I had written years ago for him. Lines, entire sections copied. Illegally reused. I smiled. Then I went to my board. Calm. No emotion. Just data. I laid it out plainly. We had a prime acquisition target. I showed them the IP theft, the overlap, the exposure. Within days, due diligence was complete. A little pressure on their investors, a subtle incentive to the right VP. And the deal was sealed before they realized what we were really after. We didn't want their product. We wanted the rights to it. So we could shelve it, bury it, and cut the entire executive team loose. Eric got the call 2 days before Easter. I made sure of that. He still showed up to dinner acting like nothing had changed. Button-down shirt, polished Rolex, expensive cologne trying and failing to cover the scent of quiet desperation. Still playing the part. Still needing the spotlight. Not everyone can handle a real career in tech, he said. That was the moment, the final unmasking. And Grandma, bless her merciless heart, dealt the death blow. "Is that why your company just bought out his and laid him off?" Eric blinked, swallowed, laughed, thin and cracked. "She's joking, right?" I said nothing. Sometimes silence is louder than any confession. Something shifted at the table. Sympathy, whatever was left, drained from him like water through a sieve. He stood halfway, faltered, and sat back down, stared at his plate, like even the food had turned against him. We didn't speak after that. A week later, he sent me a message, something about lines and family. I never replied. I don't believe in revenge for its own sake. I believe in equilibrium. He used to say I lacked ambition, that I didn't know how to scale. So I scaled, past him, through him, Cleanly, legally, without a single wasted word. Last I heard, he's pitching something new to a tiny seed fund in Oakland. They reached out to me for a reference. I gave them one. Eric has a sharp mind, just not an original one. Sometimes justice doesn't come with sirens. Sometimes it arrives quietly, dressed in pressed linen napkins and past dishes. Sometimes revenge tastes like ham and green beans, served politely across a table, where everyone pretends not to notice the blood pooled on the plate. I cleared my dish, kissed Grandma's cheek, walked out before dessert. Not all endings need applause. Some only need a closed door, and the knowledge that this time he had to swallow everything he once served.